What's going on, y'all? I want to welcome y'all back to the Raw Report. Tonight's episode, we're going to get on here and talk to Coach Golf about infinite gaming. Is it important? Do you even know about infinite gaming? When he talked to me about it, he told me it blew my mind. So I wanted to make sure I get him on here so we can dive deep and try to help y'all understand the importance of infinite gaming. And without further ado, want to welcome you to the show, Coach Golf. How you doing today?
Doing good. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing well, man. Just another day, out here grinding, trying to let the people tap in with you on this infinite gaming. So my first question I would ask you, how did you first come across the idea of infinite gaming and what made it resonate with you so deeply?
Well, I was talking with one of my one of my coworkers.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, before I even go into it, I just want to say thank you for having me on your show, giving me the opportunity to be able to come on here and talk about something that resonates with me. But
No, that's nothing. Don't worry about that. Hey,
my
let's get the people the help they need. This the Raw Report.
okay,
So
okay, that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, that's
But
what we're gonna
I
do.
was talking with a coworker of mine one day, and we always talk about different things. He's a sergeant, I believe a sergeant in the Army. He's actually deployed right now. I think he may be in Saudi Arabia. But we talk about all kinds of stuff uh, at work before we leave out. And he was telling me about had I ever heard about infinite gaming? And I'm like, infinite gaming? I'm like, nah, is that like a game you just play a game forever?
Right.
And he said, nah, infinite gaming is it's a concept that somebody had written about, that he heard about, that they had at one of his a talk that he was at.
Right.
And it's a guy, Simon Sinek, that talks about it. Well, before I even go into that bit, what he was talking about, the concept of it resonated with me because it was just so mind-blowing, the different things we got to talking about and going down different avenues.
Mm-hmm.
Just the fact of infinite game and being there are finite games and there's infinite games. A finite game is a game that ends. Infinite game is a game that continues to go on. And that concept right there really struck me. That's what resonated with me. The fact that it was a game that continues to goes on, but it's not a game.
Right.
But it's looked at as a game.
So what's so good about what you're saying, when you're saying a game and it's not a game, did that resonate with you because did you instantly transfer that over to the game of life?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I did. I think that's a great question too. That's exactly what I did. That's why it resonated with me because we got to talking about how that applies to life.
Mm-hmm.
So many things in life where we're trying to win, or in sports, you want to win the game, and once the game is over, it's over.
Right.
But that's not life though. Life continues on, and the object of the game of life is to stay in the game. And to stay in the game, you can't use the tactics and the things of old some people may not even be in the game anymore. You think you are, but you're not even in the game because you're trying to use old stuff that's obsolete, and that stuff is done, and you're not in the game.
So what I'm hearing, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not sure, but it's almost like in other words, don't lose hope because the game ain't never really over.
Yeah.
Just because you're not winning right now, don't get caught up in the finite game, like you're saying, because if you get caught up and you're trying to win and you automatically feel like you lose, you done gave up.
Yeah.
But if you keep going and just stay in the game, you have more motion, so to say, than somebody who's given up hope. Am I correct with that?
Yeah, you are, and that's definitely it with the infinite game. with finite games like sports, football, basketball, you got only certain people play those games. We all can play, but professional sports, it's only the players play in that. But an infinite game in the game of life, that's open to everybody.
Oh.
And we can get in and out of it at any time. But the object of it is to stay in it. And if you're out of it, you can get back in it because the game is still going on. Life is still going. But if you feel you're out of the game, you can get back in at any time and get going.
And I love that you said that. So I guess my question to you is, what do you think the biggest mental shifts that's required to move from a finite game to a infinite game? Like, what is the biggest things that you think people need to work through to get themselves out of that finite game of thinking to the infinite one?
I think one of the main things is the concept of winning. That concept of winning. We want to win in business. We want to win in life. But in order for you to win, you got to have a competitor. On who are you competing against?
Wow.
And then once you've beaten that person, whoever it might be, that's over with. But you think about different things like marriage and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no winner in marriage. Who are you winning against?
Wow.
The object of it is to stay in the marriage.
Ooh.
And in life, you want to stay in the game and staying in the game, keeping up with the latest things. Not trying to use. There's still some people that talk about they don't use computers. Those have been around for the longest now. And if you're not up on that, you out the game.
You definitely out the game on that one. And even to that point, when you just said trying to win in a marriage or a relationship, what are you doing? What you in a rush for? If you just stay to even kill the infinite game, you're not trying to win. You're just trying to stay at a nice even pace. So off of what you just said, most people are conditioned to win. That's what we've been conditioned to do that.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think, or how could you help someone? How can we help someone unlearn the old way of trying to win and embrace the infinite gaming instead? What do you think is a good way for us to go about trying to let the world know, like conversations like this for sure, but what do you think we could do to really help them get to an infinite gaming mindset?
I think by educating people to see that we're in it, you got to be in it for the long haul.
Mm-hmm.
The finite game has an end to it, and once that's done, it's done. It's a wrap.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you're in the finite game, if you're a champ, you win the championship last year, there's no guarantee that you're going to win it next year. You got to get back in. It's another game, a succession of games. But you have to take that the change of mindset to be in it for the long haul, to keep yourself in the game. We both know guys who think they in the game, but you ain't. You out the game.
Right.
You still playing games, but not recognizing that you ain't in the game.
Ain't nowhere near the game.
Ain't nowhere in the game.
What's so funny about what you just said, though, and I agree with you, it's a long-term game.
Yeah.
And most of us has been conditioned that since we didn't win with that first initial dream or that first initial goal, that we've given up our hope and are losing or feel like we're losing and not even dusting ourselves and getting back in the game. That's actually so good because most of us have been conditioned to play that short-term, gotta win now game. And that fall off or the depression in that is actually, is it a bigger form of depression, maybe I'm thinking, you know what I mean? Because
yeah, I think if you go into that state of, if you lose, you think that you've lost.
Mm-hmm.
And in the infinite game, if you lose, it's not a loss. You might have lost that one, but you know you're in it for the long haul. So you get back up, you keep on going.
So,
That,
so you basically saying whether you win or lose the battle, the war ain't over.
the war's not over, right?
Keep
Exactly.
fighting. Keep
Exactly.
fighting. Oh, that's good stuff. So, can you recall a moment in your life when you realized you were stuck in a finite game, and what changed after that realization?
I think realizing in my work,
Mm-hmm.
in that, I'm a mail carrier that's my work, that's the job that I do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that's not who I am. That defines the work that I do, but it
Okay.
doesn't define me as a
Right.
person.
Right.
And knowing that this is for the long term, life is for the long term, and not being defined by that means that there's other things that I can do.
Right.
There's other gifts that I have. My passion is to help people,
Right.
to give people direction, to help them get clear on things. And I think the realization of that, that job does not define me. It's what I do, and I appreciate it. But that's not the end for me.
Right.
That's not the end of the game for me right there.
I
Because
love,
I'm in it for the long haul. I'm in it in the infinite game.
and I love that you said that. That's your job.
Yeah,
The infinite game for you is your work,
right.
helping people find clarity, the coaching.
Mhm.
I'm in the same game. I'm in the infinite game with you. We trying to
Right.
help as many people as possible.
Mhm.
And I hope y'all see why I had to get this man on this show to talk about this infinite gaming, because we're trying to help y'all change our mindsets to understand that get your mindsets out of this finite game and start
Mhm.
playing an infinite one, because life, we've been conditioned for survival.
Mhm. Yeah.
And the second you can shift from survival to infinite, it's going to make a big change in your life. So I just want to say that. What role do you think uncertainty plays in an infinite game, and how can someone embrace it?
Oh, that's a good one there. I think that uncertainty is a part of the infinite game.
Mm-hmm.
A finite-minded person, if uncertainty comes, it may throw them off, because they have a certain, we all have a certain destination that we want to go to, but an infinite-minded person would see uncertainty or change or possibly trouble as an opportunity. This comes along that this can make me stronger. I can learn something from this. This can stretch me. It's not over with, but it may cause me to shift to something else. I know I have a goal that I'm trying to get to, but there's some uncertainty. But I can use that and say, okay, what else can I do? I still can get to my goal. It's just like if you have a destination that you're going to, and something blocks the road. It don't mean you stop going to where you're trying to get to. You find another way.
Right. So change to me is it's a big part of it, but
Mhm.
a lot of it's perception,
Yeah.
because change can be a bad thing, but it can be a good thing. If you're
Mhm.
not growing, what are you doing? You're dying.
Right.
So when you're growing, you're changing. So you have to embrace the change and get, basically, that's, if we go be honest with you gotta get some faith about your life,
Hmm.
to the point that yes, you can't see it and you don't understand it, but you notice this change is good for you. So that's why we're explaining to you guys, you need to get in this infinite game, because all change ain't bad. Actually, if you ask me, more change is getting comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's basically the way I would say it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
how can adopting an infinite game mindset change the way we approach our work, like your job or
Mhm.
relationships or personal growth?
I think it'll help you look at it, like we said, in the long term, that you know that it's a never-ending thing. It's like learning. Uh, you get out of school, you don't stop learning.
Right.
Life is a school. It's
Oh,
teaching lessons every day. And if you're looking at this as an infinite game, you know that it's not over. You'll learn the lessons. Even with change and things like that, you'll see that this is an opportunity for me to learn something from. It doesn't mean that this is over with. A finite-minded person will see something comes along and change, or that's it. They're in the mindset, oh, that's it. This is changed. Everything's over with.
and you know what's so good about what you just said?
Mm.
Oh, and it made me really think. Like you said, a finite person think this is it, and
Yeah.
this is where they get us with the conditioning. We graduate
Mm-hmm.
high school, and we think this is it.
We think it's
A
yeah.
lot, a lot of us haven't picked up a book since high school,
Mm-hmm.
and it's an infinite game. Now, life, you can learn whatever you want to learn, but y'all not
Yeah.
willing to learn nothing because y'all felt like y'all won because we graduated high school. The learning doesn't end there. That was just one battle that was won, but it's more battles to be won. But y'all got to dive back into the books to learn it. So I love that you said that. That's some good stuff. What are the signs that an organization or an individual that is operating in a finite mindset, how can they shift their focus towards the long haul, the infinite game? How can they shift their focus? Like, we talking about it, and it,
Mm.
you know, we work with people, we do different things, but so we understand. But how can someone who's new to this, that understand what we're talking about, how do you think they should begin to start to shift their focus?
I think about looking at it as it's a lifelong process. It's not and not looking at the competition, you know, but looking at yourself as someone who's in this for the long term, for the long haul. I'm gonna be learning for the rest of my life, and it's amazing that the more you know, the more you find out that you don't know.
That's good stuff right there.
But
But
and a finite-minded person might look at that as like a bad thing,
mhm,
but it's not, because you still have the opportunity to learn more. It just shows you, and it teaches you that this learning thing is going to be a lifelong process. This growth thing is going to be a lifelong process. So you got to be in it. Shift your mind of someone who's in it for the long haul. Stop comparing and competing with somebody else, because really the only competition that you have is yourself.
amen to that one. You know what's so crazy about what you just said? Awareness. You have to get awareness, because comparison is the thief of joy.
Mm-hmm.
You all know that one. But when you get aware of what you need to do to be shifting your mind set focus, you can actually dust off whatever old rust or whatever it is
Mm-hmm.
and jump back in the game. Wherever you at, it don't matter. Start from where you at. But
Right.
one thing I love about what you said that I want to piggyback on was once you start to move forward with that mindset and a lifelong learning, I don't know if this has been your experience, but for me, once you start to learn or get back into lifelong learning, it's a hump you got to get through. Maybe it's a 3 to 6 month mark, but once you get over it, it's clear sailing from there, because it's super hard in that first few months. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I think so, because you got to get yourself back in that groove, especially if you've been someone who has not been into reading or things like that for a while.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got to get your mind back into that groove of learn, even though there's lessons coming every day.
Right.
But because you gonna learn,
Whether you want to or not.
and whether you want to or not,
It's coming.
you're gonna learn. It's coming. You can take it the hard way or the easy way. You're gonna learn.
Right.
But that process of you learning, educating yourself,
Right.
putting yourself into that process. But once you get going, like you said, once you get going, your mind is hungry for that. You start getting into different books. You get a hunger. You want more.
Right.
So, and you get rolling. So it's that never ending process.
Which is infinite game.
Yeah, that infinite game. Yeah.
So in life, we always hear a lot of people talk about, and they say it a million different ways, but they talk about being burned out or they just tired, being on the hamster wheel and this and that, which is perception and all that. But do you think infinite gaming can prevent burnout, or is there still a big risk?
I
The
think
mindset of it.
I think as humans we can be prone to burnout, but you have to. I don't really like to use the word balance, but because that can be kind of hard to find, hard to define. Depends on the person, but you do gotta have some balance, and that you gotta take your breaks. You gotta know when is enough, but your mind can take it. It's made to learn. It's like when you the body. If you exercise, you work out, you ask for more, it'll give you more.
Yes.
You have to know your limits, and I think that the mind is like that, and learning is like that. There's always room for more. You ain't gonna never get so much stuff up here that you're gonna bust your head. But you can be prone to burnout. But I think that looking at it as a long-term thing, you're gonna be in it for the long haul. You got to know how to pace yourself. But I don't think that I don't necessarily think that burnout will be a problem.
And I asked that question that way for a specific reason with the word burnout. Because to me, when you're in infinite gaming, the burnout is actually a good thing. Because you're loading yourself up, you're filling your cup up with knowledge.
Yeah.
So it's one of those words like, you can see it, perception. You can see burnout as being burnt out in a bad way. If you burn out on knowledge, your road just opened up wide for you to do a million different things.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked, is it still a risk? Because most people will hear burnout and think, oh, I'm gonna be tired of this, I'm gonna be tired of that. But I can guarantee you, if you tire yourself out on knowledge, it's some winning on the other side of that.
Yeah. It's definitely a payoff from it.
Yes, sir. A payoff. That's what I meant to say.
It's a payoff from it. It's like I was just thinking today about. I've been really into listening to a lot of books and reading and stuff, and trying to gain more knowledge. And the point of it is not for me so I can load up on information and have all this stuff, but the point of it is so that I can have something to share with other people. I can look and say, okay, how can I use this to serve someone else? And I was just reading another quote today by Simon Sinek. He was saying about the infinite-minded person is the infinite mind is all about service. By service, serving others. There's always somebody else to serve. There's always somebody else who needs help.
Right.
It's always somebody else who we can pass something on to, and they can take it and pass it on to someone else. But I never want to be a person who puts a lot of knowledge in there just for the sake of knowledge, or just so I can say, yeah, I read that book. No, I got to do something with that. That's a finite mind.
Right.
That it ends with me. It's finite minded. It can't end with me. It has to go on out to the rest of the world.
I've even heard it said that no matter if you're one step ahead of somebody, you can help them. Whatever area of life, because they might be one step ahead of you over here, but you might be one step over here. But that goes back to me and you talk all the time. That goes back to the iron sharpening iron.
Right, exactly, yeah.
We can help each other. We we got to open other people's ears to help them understand that learning is an infinite game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what systems or habits do you personally use to ensure you're playing an infinite game in your own life?
Well, but like I said, always trying to acquire knowledge, different books, reading. With my work, I have the benefit of being able to listen
Mm-hmm.
to books, and I can go through them rather quickly like that. So listening to different books, reading different books, listening to different podcasts, trying to see what's the next, the latest things. I think things like Chat GPT and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not up on things like that,
Oh,
you're not in the game.
you definitely ain't in the game. You ain't up on it. So
You're
look,
not in the game.
I just gotta ask you this question off what you just said,
Mm-hmm.
because with your work and when you just said that, how does that affect your days? Like, does you get a little pep in your step when you getting in a good book and you just doing your thing? Your days
It,
just fly by, maybe.
it does. It helps the days the days go by. You got to be careful though, because you can really zone out if you get a really good one.
Right.
It can take you in your mind, because in your mind can take you some places you don't want to go.
Right.
But you can really go there.
Okay.
But it helps the days go by, and it feeds. It helps me to know that I'm feeding my my mind,
Mm-hmm.
that I'm feeding myself something good. We get garbage all the time, but in order for me to get some good stuff in there, I got to be intentional about that.
Yes, sir.
I got to make sure that happens, because the garbage is going to come from all kind of places. That's going to come, but that good things, I have to be intentional about that. So,
You know what's so crazy about that when you say intentional? And I just seemed like I just had this conversation the other day. I don't think people understand that anything that you do that's intentional is going to be work.
yeah,
It's hard work to be doing bad or doing the wrong thing is easy. You don't even take no thought. But try to do the right thing. Man, that thing is hard as all outdoors, especially when you say being intentional. You got to put
Yeah.
some effort in. But so if someone was I'm just thinking off top.
Mhm.
If somebody's in a highly competitive field, or just say sports, business, whatever, do you think they could use an infinite gaming mindset in that field, or do you think it might change their competitive edge, or they could lose it? I don't think they could lose it, but I'm asking, what do you think?
I know. I think it actually could make them better, because if you are in a finite game, but you got to have an infinite mindset,
Mm-hmm.
you're looking at the game completely different
Ooh.
than somebody who's looking at it as a finite game.
Right.
If they're focused on, I just want to beat you,
Mm-hmm.
and you focused on, I'm looking for the long term. It's like he said in the book about the Vietnamese in the war were fighting the Americans, and the Vietnamese were fighting for their lives.
Mm-hmm.
The Americans were fighting to beat them. So the Vietnamese were, and they were willing to fight to the death, down to the last person.
Mm-hmm.
So the Americans won a lot of the battles, but they lost the war because they just couldn't. The Vietnamese just wouldn't stop fighting.
Right.
They were fighting for. They was looking at it a whole different thing. You trying to just beat us? We trying to fight. We fighting for our lives.
Right.
So,
That's
and
a
they look at it in a whole different way.
different mindset. Like you said, mindset is everything.
Yeah,
Especially in this personal growth thing that we talking about,
Mhm.
this personal development. If you don't change your mindset, you're gonna get more of what you already been getting.
Yeah,
And it's nobody else's problem or fault, it's yours. How can an infinite gaming perspective change the way we think about legacy and purpose?
Mm. Yeah, that's a great one there, because an infinite game is all about legacy. It's all about legacy, because
Touch on that for me.
life is finite. Our life, we're finite, but life is infinite.
Ooh.
And the life I live and the things that I do, I should be in something higher or something that's going to outlast me,
Mm-hmm.
something that I could pass on, or somebody else could take up the mantle and keep going with that thing.
Ooh.
I think about people like Martin Luther King. He knew that the civil rights was an infinite thing.
Mm-hmm.
He was infinite minded. That's why he could say, I have a dream.
Right.
I might not get there with you. Because he knew that this thing is much bigger than me. He was so infinite minded that he knew they were trying to kill him. And that's why he would come out and say, I might not get there with you, but I've seen the mountaintop. So y'all got to keep on going. This is a long-term thing. It doesn't end with me. If I'm not here, make sure that the battle carries on.
So what's so good about what you just said? If we can, like, even having these conversations, we can just turn a few minds to help them to start thinking infinite gaming in their mindset. There's no limit to what we can achieve. And I'm thinking about what you just said, and in this world that's obsessed with these short-term wins, what is the spiritual grounded? What is the spiritualness that you think a person needs to stay grounded and committed to playing this long-term game? I know it's God, but I just want to hear what you got to say.
Yeah, it's definitely is God, because you understand that a lot of times I ask and I wonder, I don't know how anybody in this world makes it without God in their life, because with the things that go on and with the things that are going on, it's easy. It'd be easy for you to lose hope.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're grounded, and as you always say, you're grounded in your faith, you know that, okay, this is not the end. It's not over with. I'm in this for the long haul. He said that I was going to have some tough times, but he also said that he was going to be with me through it all. So I'm looking towards to continue. That's what gives me hope. You look at the things that go on, and you can lose hope. You can get discouraged
Easily.
Yeah, easily.
Right.
Especially if you finite minded, and they take something away. That thing away is gone. It's gone. It's oh man, it's over with.
Right.
But you infinite minded. You like okay, well they took. Okay,
what's next? What's next?
What's next?
Let's get to it.
Let's go. Yeah, it don't stop right here. I got to keep on grinding. My dad was always famous, always saying that you got to find a way.
Right.
You got to find a way.
So what's even like? So what you just brought up when I always say stay grounded in your faith.
Mm-hmm.
I try to so you will understand this because you old school like me.
Mm-hmm.
But most electrical things, a battery or something, you need a ground. If you ain't grounded with God, got your word, you doing a bunch of stuff, but you ain't grounded. You need a ground that's gonna keep you moving on point. But bro, you just hit it on the head. So why do you think human? I feel like it's. I feel like it's indoctrination. I really don't know. But why do you think us in human society? Why are we drawn to a finite game? Is it conditioning?
Yeah, I think it's conditioning. We in sports and business and different things like that, it's all about the win. We want to beat the other team.
Mm-hmm.
I want to beat you. We want to be the best at whatever it is. And most of the time, it's like, okay, well, you're the best at, by what metric system? How are you measuring that?
Right.
But it's like you say, it's indoctrinated into us about the win, about the finite thing. A lot of that's why a lot of guys who are in sports and that Once they get out of it, that's it. It's like, okay, but not knowing that you still have a life you got to live. You got, okay, what's next now?
I love that you just brought that up because you said in sports. I don't know what and that's for us. They have us in sports since we was little. Most of us, in numbers wise, we don't make the NBA. Most of us don't make college. But soon as the dream of the sports is over, now we feel like life is over because we didn't reach that particular dream. We got to dust ourselves off and get back in the game.
Yeah.
Find something new to pursue to keep you in the game, because I honestly believe they kill a lot of our dreams and hopes by having us all chasing the NBA. And if you really look up the numbers, and I don't know what the latest numbers is, but the last time I looked, the NBA been going on for almost 50-something years, and less than 5,000 people done ever played a game in the NBA.
Wow.
Less than 5,000 people, but all of us are chasing to be in the NBA?
Yeah.
Quit playing. The numbers don't even add up.
Right.
So I guess my suggestion for saying that to all the future generations and kids coming up, yes, play sports, do your thing, but have you get another plan along with that. Don't just leave that as your only plan. I don't even care how good you are, because if they decide to pull the rug from under you and you don't got no other plan, that fall is harsh.
Yeah. And I think that sports and things like that can be part of your infinite game, because there's a lot of things that you can, a lot of principles, a lot of life principles that you can learn from on there, how to be dependable, how to trust somebody, how to have somebody have your back and you got their back, how to hang in there when things get down, how to come back. A lot of those things in there can be part of your infinite game.
How to be a good teammate.
How to be a good teammate, or teach you how sometimes it's going to get down and time you're going to be losing in life.
You got to battle.
But you lost the last one, but next one you may be winning.
Right.
So,
and it'll teach you how to stay even keel, whether you down or up.
Whether you down or up, yeah. You just keep on going.
And that goes into my next question, just great. So if the infinite game has no ultimate win, what does fulfillment look like within it?
I think fulfillment is the win.
Oh,
I think fulfillment is the win, because you in that infinite game, that's like, place where I'm at now in my life, finding that thing in me that is fulfillment. Finding my place. That's the fulfillment. Being able, or knowing that I've helped somebody.
Right.
Knowing that because I was here, somebody is blessed. I got grandkids now. Knowing that I've done something that I can leave behind for them, that they can look and say, that's my, they always all call me Pop Pop. That's my Pop Pop. I'm proud of him. He did something to change his world. We get so focused on things like we want to change the world. Start with trying to change your world.
Look at the man in the mirror.
Right, there you go. Yeah, looking to change your world.
Yes,
Start
sir.
right there. Like Michael Jackson said, the man in the mirror. Start with the man in the mirror.
Start with him. Yes, sir. You know what's so good about what you just said? I did not see that answer coming, but that was good. It is fulfillment, because, and I would say this from my own, like you said, my own personal journey. Once I started to find that fulfillment, ain't nothing like it. It's almost like being a kid again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, to other people, like a lot of people doing this, they do these, podcasts and helping people. They do it for, I guess, I don't know, fame or whatever they do it for. I actually enjoy it because I'm trying to help the people get whatever. Anybody got any information, I'm here to help. Let's get it out.
Yeah.
Let's go. So I love that you said that, fulfillment. What wisdom would you pass on from just philosophies or something from the Bible or something that aligns with what we're talking about the infinite gaming? Or can you? I mean, because I'm just saying, because like for me, if you thought about maybe something in the sense of that lines up with infinite gaming.
You know what? I'm glad you asked that because I just thought of one, and it's a scripture in Ecclesiastes that says that to all the living there is hope.
Okay.
So if you still alive, you can get
There's
back in the game.
You in the game.
You in the game. You in the game if you want to be or not.
Can you repeat that for me, man? Because that's a good bar right there. Say that shit. Give me the scripture.
You're in the game if you want to be or not.
What's the scripture again?
The scripture is Ecclesiastes. I can't remember exactly in Ecclesiastes, but it says that to all the living there is hope. Ooh. It's better to be a live dog than a dead lion.
Ooh, you in the game.
You in the game.
Dust yourself off and get back going.
Right, get back up, get back going.
And that was a bar right there. I'm gonna let that one right. So look, all right. I got a few rapid fire questions for you. That's cool with you?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So that's like first answers that come to your mind, or quick one words. It don't have to be one word, but just first answers that come to your mind. What is a book that radically changed how you see the world?
The Infinite Game by Simon Sinek. It's actually a guy named James Carse wrote it before him, and he rewrote it, and it's in accordance to, he's got to relay it towards business, but I just take the concept of it and relay it to life.
I'm glad you said that, but because we're doing the infinite gaming, I'm going to re-ask that question, and I want another book. Because we've been speaking on infinite gaming, but I'm glad people know that infinite gaming, there is a book. Mm-hmm. So guys, go check that book out. And like he said, it's a business book. And it's so funny because I do a lot of that too. I relate business books to life too. But I from you specifically, since we already did this whole show on infinite gaming, can you please give us another book that radically changed how you see the world?
I'd have to say one of my favorites, The Alchemist.
The Alchemist, okay.
The Alchemist.
So in a finite or infinite world, which way do you think describes the way most people play social media or see social media?
Finite, definitely.
Without a question of a doubt. That was too easy. But I had to ask it. Because I wanted to bring up the same subject of social media because in that, and I know this is supposed to be rapid fire, but I got to throw this part with the social media because I knew you was going to say that. But social media, people are living a finite game on there, not realizing that all you got to do is walk out your door and realize that life is not what you're seeing on these screens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So open your minds up and live an infinite game and go outside, take a walk, breathe some fresh air.
And another thing about the social media is that people don't know that, well, people, I guess maybe they do know, the things you put on there stay on there for out to infinity.
Oh.
So you have to be careful of that, of what you put out there.
So your output affects your input.
Exactly.
And your input affects your output.
Right.
So watch your input. Right. Also watch your output.
Also watch your output. Yeah. Because what you put in is going to be what you put out. This shows people where you're thinking, and you'll look back in one day and say, "Man, I did that.
What was I thinking?
What was I thinking?" Yeah.
That's good stuff. So if you could give a TED Talk on infinite gaming in one sentence, what would it be?
Life is an infinite game.
Life is an infinite game.
Life is an infinite game.
Hey, amen to that one. What's one habit people should stop if they want to give up the finite game and start playing the infinite one?
Comparisons. Stop comparing and competing with other people.
Is comparison a habit, though? It could be, but I'm just asking.
It could be.
Look, I'm finna hit you with something a little deeper.
Yeah, yeah.
Off the habit. But I want you to give me another one. But stop smoking and drinking. That's just
Yeah.
call it what it is.
Habits like that, those are definitely
That's a finite game. That's
you definitely playing a finite game, baby.
killing your hope.
Yeah, yeah. You did right, exactly. I always often tell people that the Grim Reaper don't need no help.
And you helping him every day.
And you helping him. He don't need my help.
Right.
So
that's actually really good. What you say? The Grim Reaper don't need no help.
No, he doesn't need no help. When it's time and he comes, I can't say, whoa, wait, I ain't ready.
Look,
That's
I'm going
it.
to say it a little better than that. The Grim Reaper don't need your help.
All right, he don't need your help. Yeah.
I just don't need no help. He don't need your help.
He don't need your help. Yeah, yeah.
What's a misconception people have about infinite gaming? What's one misconception?
That they can't get in the game.
So you think they're stuck because it didn't go right the one time or the first time?
Right. People think that they're completely out of the game because that one thing didn't go right. Or one of the issues that I had to deal with, I'm too old to do this or that. Or that last thing didn't work. So because that didn't work, I'm out the game. But it's not true, though.
It's not true at all. I'm going back to your Ecclesiastes, like you said. Right. To all living, there is hope.
Right, exactly.
That means you in the game.
You in the game, yeah.
In the game. You figure it out. Okay, how old are you? You still living? You in the game.
You in the game, yeah.
I'm glad that you said it because our generation need to hear that because I feel like a lot of us have lost hope because we didn't win. But perception of winning is not what they ingrained in us or what they trained our minds to think. It's not winning the game. It's no game to be won. Just stay in the game.
Yeah.
Okay, so here goes some final takeaways from today. It's like few final questions. If someone wants to start shifting into an infinite game mindset today, what's the first step you think they should take?
Start educating yourself.
Start educating yourself.
Start educating yourself.
And you can go to YouTube University. That's
exactly.
Good. Get off all that entertainment and start doing some learning.
Well, we got so much information is so readily available to us now. We don't have no excuse.
I mean, they still finding them though.
Yeah. They well, yeah. If you really want to find one, you can. But
Yeah, we ain't thinking like that. We infinite gamers, so we
exactly. If that's your aim, you're gonna find a way.
Definitely go find a way. What's a challenge you can give our listeners to help them start thinking and acting with an infinite perspective on life?
I think to plan on being here. If you plan on being here, then you have to plan on being here.
Ooh.
Which means that you got to do things so that you can ensure that you will be here. You got to do things so that you can ensure that you can stay in the game. Stand up on things. It's amazing now how a lot of restaurants don't even take cash. The game has changed.
Right.
It's still going on. So if you still going to some of those and you trying to do that, they won't even take it. So you got to be up on the latest game, on the latest thing.
You is dropping some bars. If you plan on being here, plan on being here.
Yeah.
That is a bar right there, Coach. Oh, Lord. If you plan on being here, plan on being here.
Yeah. I mean, because there's so many things that we can, like you said, quitting smoking and different things like that. There's so many things that we do to ourselves, things that we have control over.
Right.
It don't have to be that way.
I was just say this, from off of what you said, plan on being here. Get out of that survival mindset. Because even, like, I'm just going to say this, even in the hood,
Mm-hmm.
most of us, a lot of us grew up in the hood.
Yeah.
We thought, oh man, it ain't gonna nothing gonna happen tomorrow and this and that. Most of us are still here, but we ain't made no plans. That's on us. You can't blame that on nobody else. You ain't making no plans. So how do you expect your tomorrow to change if you ain't changed it?
Right, exactly. Yeah. It's like that saying that says nothing changes until you change.
Right.
Nothing's going to happen unless you do something.
Okay. Hey, look, Coach Golf, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on here and teaching my audience about this infinite gaming. So, where can the people find you? Give them your IGs, wherever you at. Like, where can they find you at so they can tap in with you and start to follow you and learn more from you?
Well, you can find me on Instagram at Young Golf, YUNGOLPH, and I'm getting my YouTube channel going, The Effect.
Okay.
You can find me at the EFFCT. And I'm getting myself into the game of TikTok. I got to get in that game.
Okay.
I ain't got in that game yet.
But you get in it. Yeah, he said, I'm coming. Look, I just eased in there myself, like you said. Infinite gaming. If y'all ain't tapped in with it, tap in. Tap in with Young Golf so he can give you more structure. I'm sure you're gonna have some courses and something else on it to help you guys work through it. Y'all already know what I like to say. Stay real, stay raw, stay grounded in your faith. And until the next time, y'all, I'm out.